One of my favorite smartphones right now is the Nubia Z60 Ultra, and this one has a special street mode that you can just simply enable by flipping this switch, and it will open up the camera in street mode. And with this one I will take some shots and I will show you what makes it so special. So let's get started. Let's take a look at the photos, and we are going to full screen, and we have all the image information here on the left. As you can see here, this one has been taken with the 35mm main camera sensor. And by the way, I used the default color profile for the street mode, which is FJ100. I think it's a simulation for the Fujifilm 100 film, and it's doing pretty good job. I like it a bit of higher contrasty kind of look. It reminds me also a little bit of the Leica look. But yeah, this is the one that I was using for those kinds of shots. This is indoors now in a shopping center. As you can see here, ISO is 160. But what is like so special about the street mode, you need a fast shutter speed. And even in this fairly lit situation, dim lit situation a little bit, it has like a shutter speed of 1/100th of a second to freeze action and motion. And when I zoom in, you can see this is like a bit blurry. Why is that the case? Because it was focusing on this person. This is also a specialty of the street mode. It will focus on people very much and try to get like this blurry kind of background there. It's not doing it artificially, but whatever is like coming here in front will get into the shot there. You can of course set your favorite kind of focus distance as well if you want to. This is possible, like I told you, with the Nubia Z50S Pro. If you take a look at this video, there we'll talk about the street mode in a little bit more of detail. Anyway, let's go to another shot. This is now the 85mm telezoom lens. You can see it also f3.3 there that we have, and this one is a bit slow, 1/33 of a second. The reason is because this one doesn't go as high in terms of ISO there, and also if it gets a bit higher, it gets a bit grainy, and you can see it here already, a little bit of grain and noise going on there at ISO 1000. Nice, everything is readable here on this little advertisements there for this meat. And this is also 35mm, as you can see, 1/100th of a second again, so it tries to maintain a very high shutter speed. You can see that the ISO is 160 only. It's getting a bit soft there, a little bit of details there lacking, but I think the freezing of motion there of people doing stuff, like you're looking at things, as you can see, it's working fine. Colors are nice. What I noticed immediately is like a little bit of overexposure there, so I think the HDR effect has been a little bit tuned down, or it's not so advanced as with the normal photo mode, just to preserve a little bit of processing time and processing speed for freezing the motion. And of course I should have like taken a shot with kids playing or something like this to freeze the motion even more. But as you can see here, daylight outside 1/1285 fifths of a second here, 160 ISO, and this is the main camera sensor. As you can see here, it's a bit of over sharpening going on. This is one of the downsides on the street mode. I noticed that I think it is like overdoing it with the over sharpening. You don't have this much over sharpening in the normal mode there. I think it's just trying to compensate for the otherwise like a bit of softness in the picture because of this very high shutter speed, and not so much optimization going on there. So they're cranking up the speed here. Timmy frozen in time. He was like walking around. I was holding him, as you can see here, the leash. He was walking really, so 1/400th of a second is like also possible to freeze in time. We have 16 megapixel images that I like with the 85mm one. You can see even a little bit more there. Ultra wide angle is also astonishingly good in this case. 18mm f1.8, fast shutter speed as well, and you can see all the little details here about this tower. No issues there at all. You can even see the little tiles there on the tower itself. It's getting a bit noisy, which is quite interesting because it's ISO 100, but I think it has something to do with this high shutter speed that we have here as well. And also I think because you have the possibility, and maybe I turned it on here, to enable artificial grain, like a bit of film grain or something like this. But you can see also a little bit of overexposure here already. This is the lack of HDR, of good HDR. I was testing this directly, photographing into the sun, using 50mm in this case, propping into the 35mm main camera sensor a little bit there. You can see here 28 thousandths of a second. Wow, 1/28,000 of a second. That's very, very high shutter speed there. Because photographing against the sun, and you can see HDR effect is like a little bit worse. There's a bit of flaring going on, but usually the lens is astonishingly good, also protected against flaring, sun flaring. And yeah, this is what you get there. And then another shot, this is like over, it would be on every other smartphone, over 100 times zoom. In this case, it's like 247mm. You can see it's a bit of blooming already. Looked a little bit better on the screen, I have to say. Using the 85mm one, if I zoom in, you can see details are lost a little bit. So here, I would prefer them to be a little bit more optimized there. But it's a street mode, so they have like optimization tuned down to be able to have fast shots here. And it looks a little bit better in the normal mode. Then again, just to show you, you can freeze motion, like people cycling, for example, with ISO 160 and the shutter speed of 1/2320. So you can see you get people in motion there without any issues. Standstill, yes, it's a bit processed looking, but I think it's okay if you don't zoom in so much. And I wouldn't crop maybe too much in those street photos. And this one also tried to get this nice, there's this two people here, maybe a couple, sitting around here in a nice kind of framing, and I had to zoom quite a bit in because I was past already and I didn't want to go back because I had Timmy with me and my daughter as well. And 1/128 using the 85mm and then cropping into 187mm, which is like 187 divided by 24. On a normal smartphone it would be like around 7.5 times zoom. And as you can see here, it's already a bit soft, and that's the issue with the street mode when it comes to long range zoom. The main photo mode is doing a lot more processing, and therefore it can optimize it a bit, and don't have this much. So I would not get past like 5 times zoom with this in street mode, I would say, because it's getting just too soft there. Nevertheless, a good lens here, 85mm, as you can see here, without doing much in terms of cropping in, and you can see freeze in motion here. Skateboarder on a skateboard park there, and yeah, also pretty nice, as you can see there. And then also here another 85mm, sorry, shot of this ship going into the sunset there. And then another shot here of a flower, because the Nubia also has, in street mode, it's about the colors. So you can see you get with this Fuji kind of colors, very muted kind of colors here for the yellow, which usually is like over punchy kind of color, but you can still get enough details here. It's not a macro shot, but here I would like even crop in a little bit without much hesitation. There, ISO 1600, so it's a bit high. There's a bit of noise going on. Yeah, such shot as well. You see all the little details there. It's with the 85mm. This is where I think the 85mm shines a little bit. It's like one of the best shots that I got with the 85mm in street mode, at least. And this is another day and another color profile. This time around I chose KD 400, which I think stands for Kodak 400. So it's simulating Kodak 400, which is a bit of a warmish kind of filter with a little bit of overexposure all over the place. And yeah, this is what you get. Even with a higher shutter speed, you can see overexposure there a little bit, and you can see it's warm, which makes sense for a sunny day, but it's also over sharpened kind of look and a bit of noisy, but still gives like a little bit of this Kodak flair that I think people like. And of course you have also this 35mm that you can, for kind of macro shots, you can use it, and it's nice and sharp there as well. Even it's a bit artificial sharpening for sure, and a bit noisy there. But if you don't crop in, like I said, for street photos, usually maybe you don't crop in so much. This makes a lot of sense, and together with like this little details like this water droplets there, it looks fantastic. Also this one here, even though it is not sharp at all with this crop of the 35mm, especially here, and a bit overblown. This, I think, first of all, poorer HDR that we have in the street mode, but I think it's also characteristic for this KD400 or Kodak film simulation that we have here. It tries to have a little bit of more overexposure there and a bit more bluish there. And yeah, this here as well, I can see this one is more saturated in terms of yellow color, for example. And yeah, kind of got a nice shot, looked a bit better on screen again than here on a big display. So it's a bit like details lacking, not sharp enough, but it's looking very nice if you zoom out. And yeah, this one, I think the last shot here indoors now, just to show you what it's doing. It's like brightening everything up a little bit, making everything a little bit warmer. So it is the possibility, if you have like a gloomy kind of day, you can make it like a bright sunny kind of day. You can get away with this kind of film simulation that we have there. And detail levels is, I think, okay there. And yeah, so you can see a bit of dusty there already. And that's it in terms of street photography. So overall, I like the street mode, especially because you have like the flip of the button. It's the flip of, yeah, it's a button that you switch, that you can switch, and you are directly in your camera app and you can just simply take the shot very, very quickly, even of fast moving subjects. And I like the film simulations. I have to be completely honest, the KD400 I don't like so much. I like more the FJ100, and there's another FJ, I think 400 or something like this. I like those Fujifilm film simulations here the most, but you can play around with those, and that's pretty nice. You have dozens of those film simulations on the Nubia Z60 Ultra, and I like it very, very much. I think it is also something, because it's like trying to simulate film. Not everything is perfect. You can see it here, like this is in focus, this is already unsharp and a bit of noisy and grainy, but I think it's giving a little bit of character to the images, because it reminds you of maybe older kind of film cameras that were also not very perfect in every sense of the way, especially if you zoom in a little bit more. But still, you get this like very, very fast kind of way of focusing, the fast way of shooting, and yeah, this makes a lot of sense. This is why it makes sense to have a street mode. I really hope other camera manufacturers can, like, yeah, not steal, but clone this, copy this idea of a street mode, because this would be awesome also for other smartphone manufacturers to have such a mode there, with tons of film simulations that you can use there. And yeah, maybe your own characteristics. I think some of the manufacturers are doing it, Leica and Xiaomi, for example, or Xiaomi with the Leica effects, Hasselblad and Oppo or OnePlus, and yeah, Vivo with Zeiss also a little bit, but there's only one simulation. Here we have dozens of simulations, and depending on your mood you can change it, which is like a lot better than those, yeah, fairly random kind of color profiles that every smartphone manufacturer somehow puts in, and it doesn't look nice. For example, I would really like to have a good monochrome kind of look, and even though I didn't show it, I was playing around the other day with the Nubia Z60 Ultra. It has a very, very good monochrome kind of look that reminds me a little bit of the older Leica days with the Huawei Corporation, and the monochrome lenses there, and sensors even, which I really like there. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you have some questions regarding the Nubia Z60 Ultra, write it down in the comment section. Otherwise, you will find in a comment as well the camera ranking for the Nubia Z60 Ultra. Just wanted to show you the capabilities that it has with the street mode, because usually people are not talking about the street mode, they just use the normal photo mode here. So, short little video, hope you enjoyed it, thanks for watching, until the next time.